What up? It's your girl Motivation with V, and this is Get Real with V, where we're gonna get real, we're gonna get raw, and we're gonna get down to the truth. And I am your host, Veronica Suazo. Welcome back, y'all, to season 2. This is the last episode. Oh my God, this is a bittersweet feeling. This is the last episode to this year's podcast. As many of you know, I started this podcast in January in my living room, and we are here. And this is the last episode. It's been a journey for sure. I'm actually finishing grad school today too. Yesterday I finished my internship. So there's a lot of like endings, but new beginnings. And I'm excited because today we have a very special guest whose story is very inspiring. But not only that, for me, it's like a full circle moment because for those that have been tuning in on my journey, this year I decided to stop drinking because it was not doing me a service. And so I just took inventory of my life last year and I was like, what is stalling me? And alcohol was just one of those things. And I was like, what would happen if I just remove it? Right. And just prioritize myself and go in on all my goals. And I mean, look, I got this podcast. I'm finishing grad school. There's a lot of things that I'm getting done. And so I'm excited to hear Paul's story. I won't say too much, but I think we've been following each other for a while on social media, and he's an owner of a Better You Fitness.
Better You
A
Fitness.
Better
Yeah.
You Fitness. Okay. So the title says it all. So just know you guys are going to get a lot from his story, and I'm so excited to hear it like as deep as you want to go. Feel free. This is Get Real with V. So we about to get real today. We about to close this episode out powerfully. So without further ado, Paul, it's all yours. Tell them a little bit about yourself.
So I'm Coach Paul. As V said, I'm the owner of a Better You Fitness. We are a large group and personal training facility in Hayward. And fitness saved my life. I have a pretty crazy background story. We'll go deeper into it, I'm sure, but grew up in a broken home. Mom was on drugs. Dad was physically and emotionally abusive. I learned at a young age that to deal with things, you put your hands on people. And so by the time I was 15, I was running the streets. I was addicted to drugs. I was in a gang. I ended up going in and out of juvenile hall, boys' homes. I ended up going in and out of jail. I went to prison. The first time I went to prison, I kind of got out and tried to get my life in order. But you talk about not drinking anymore, right? And so at that point in my life, I was still drinking and smoking weed. I thought I didn't have a problem with that. It led me back to other drugs that I used to use, led me back to hustling, led me back to running the streets. And before you knew it, at 22 years old, I committed a crime that had me looking at 27 years of prison. I ended up doing 10 years on that crime. And I've been out a little over 7 years. And in the 7 years I've been out, I've been able to completely change my life and just rebuild everything from scratch. And so it's been a journey, and it all started with switching up my mindset, shifting my mindset.
Yeah, I'm so grateful that you're sharing that with us because there's a lot of people that have grown up in broken homes, grown up in the streets, been out there with the gangs, drinking, doing drugs. And I'm very big and passionate on this because I myself used to hang out with the wrong crowd. I used to do stupid shit. I used to drink, smoke, do all of that. And it could have led me down a different path. And I chose to go this way instead. So I appreciate you being here today and sharing what you went through and how you got yourself out of it, because I know that there's going to be people listening in that need to hear it, to help them shift their mindset. Because I always say, what is it? Change your mind, change your life. Like it all starts with the mind. Like people don't understand how powerful your mindset is. It can either make you or break you. And as someone who's a therapist, but has also been doing the work on herself, I understand when you grow up in a household that is not stable, it's easier for you to get stuck in that path of like doing drugs, drinking, partying, just kind of trying to, what is it? Not erase, but
Numb.
There you go. Numb
Absolutely.
everything.
Absolutely.
And so that goes into, you were 15 years old.
I was 15 years old when I first started getting incarcerated.
Okay. Is that when you started also doing
I started
drugs?
I started drinking and smoking weed at 14, and then I started using harder drugs at 15. And I started to, hanging out with the raw, like really going deep into that lifestyle at 15. And that's when I started getting incarcerated. So I pretty much spent most of my childhood incarcerated. My 16th birthday, I was in a boys' home. So juvenile hall, boys' homes, or on the run because I had cut off my house arrest bracelet and just was like doing whatever I wanted to do. I turned 18 and went straight to jail. 18, I
Yeah.
went to prison the first time at 19, so like from basically from 15 to 33, I was pretty much spent most of my time incarcerated.
What was that like for you during that time? Do you feel like you were numb from everything you were feeling? Or like what was it that you were feeling during that time as you were coming in and out of jail, you were using?
I
I'm
mean, it became normalized, right? It became like, the first time I got locked up, I did 6 months in juvenile hall, right? Immediately,
Mhm.
6 months locked away. That's a half a year.
You don't feel like that first time that you got locked up, you're like, "Oh, I gotta change."
No,
I mean,
I
clearly,
mean, I
right?
mean, no, because like, y- I would say I felt that way initially, but you can't change. Like, I'm in here for 6 months. What am I going to do? All of a sudden, I'm just going to be a good kid now. Like, the reality of it is those places harden you.
Wow.
And when I was 15 years old, I was barely going through puberty. I was barely, I wasn't even old enough to drive yet.
Wow.
And so, like, being forced into that situation, it was like, and then you're with a bunch of other broken kids, right? That are also going through the same situation. You develop the wrong way. And the crazy thing is for me, I'm white. I grew up in a Hispanic neighborhood and my stepdad's black,
Hey.
right? So I didn't mess with the whites in there, right? So I was a target until I chose not to be a target,
Mm.
until I chose to click up. And when I started clicking up, I wanted to make a name for myself because, like, I'm a white guy. I wasn't in a white gang. I'll tell you that for sure, right? And so, like, it was like, all right, so what am I going to do? Like, I remember I've been set up with blacks, with Asians, with Hispanics. The one time I got set up with a white dude, he had a swastika on the back of his leg and I took off on him. Like, my stepdad's black. I don't respect that. So he beat my ass. Can I cuss on this?
Yes, you can
Okay.
cuss. Get real.
Okay, cool,
You
right.
can get real, man.
He beat, I ain't gonna lie, he beat my ass. But I was like, I'm not gonna be sailed up with someone that got a swastika on his leg because I don't live like that. I don't believe that. My stepdad raised me. He's a black guy. Like, come on. So at the end of the day, like, for me, it was like I had to go all in once I started getting incarcerated. So then it just became normal. It became a part of my life. So then going in and out, like, it was just like, all right, this is just how I live my life. And,
Yeah.
and so, and then I would get out and I was just like, all right, well, I know eventually I'm going to go back. And also I would get out and have, like, I knew now I have this lifestyle that I've dedicated myself to. But now
Yeah.
in reverse, I did the same thing with the positive. Now that I've switched my mindset and changed my life, I'm all in on this.
Yeah.
Like we were just talking about in the parking lot. I got my face and my business blasted on the side of my car. Like, I'm all in
He
on
really
this.
does.
Like, I'm all in on this. Like, I did the same when I was living in the street life, and now it's just in the reverse.
There's a couple things I wanna say. What this guy once told me, it will forever stick with me. He's like, "I was so good at being bad, and I was able to influence people to do bad. Now that I can do good, or now that I know that I can influence, I might as well, like, influence or do good." And
Mm-hmm.
that's kinda reminds me of what you're talking about. And also, your story also reminds me of prison and jail. I just feel like the system is so fucked and there needs to be a lot of things that need to be reworked because it's sad. Like, you're right. You go into juvie or jail and you're around these other convicts or people that all have been through some shit. And the last thing that's on their mind is to change. I'm like, the system has to help and embrace them to want to change. So it's fucked up that that's how the system is. But I'm glad to hear that at some point you got yourself out of it, which brings me to my question is, what was it that made you wanna change? Was there, like, a specific moment or something that happened in your life where you're like, "That's it. Something's gotta change."
So it wasn't a specific moment. It was a few moments back to back.
Mhm.
So I'll take you back to, it was August of 2017. Okay. So I was sentenced to 10 years with 85% because I'm a violent offender. I've
Mhm.
got 2 strikes. So I was supposed to do 8.5 years. 6 months in the county was dead time. So I was supposed to do 9 years off of the 10. Now, I ended up doing a little over 10. So that shows you I wasn't behaving myself while I was in there. I was continuing to engage in criminal activity. I was continuing to do stupid things while I was in there. And so because of that, my release date got pushed out. So on August 1st, 2017, that was supposed to be my release date. That was the day I was supposed to get out of prison initially, but because I had continued to, misbehave while I was in there, I had extended my stay, as I say, right?
Mm-hmm.
So August 1st, 2017 came and it left. I was still getting high. I was still engaging in criminal activity behind the walls. And, those next couple of weeks, like I was just in this fog of like denial of like, oh man, I was supposed to get out. I was so mad at myself, but I couldn't stop using. And honestly, I was just digging myself a deeper and deeper hole. Right. And the people that I run with in there was tired of my shit because I kept messing up. I kept getting high. I kept doing stupid things. I was tired of my shit. And August 30th, 2017. So that month of August was like, I was in like my deepest place I've ever been. Like I really just didn't care no more. August 30th, 2017, I woke up. I went to go brush my teeth. I looked at myself in the scratched prison mirror and I just saw my cheeks were sunken in. I had like black rings around. I just looked like sick.
Yeah.
I looked sick, right? And I was just like, man, this is not you. This is not you. And it was that day right there I made a conscious decision to shift my mindset and make some changes. So August, I have it tattooed right here, August 30th, 2017. It's the day I stopped using drugs. It's the day I decided I was going to do something different with my life. So a little over 8 years ago, and I've been pushing hard since then. I'm just as hard for this positive stuff now than I used to do for the negative stuff.
Yeah.
And, I was like, I've gone so hard for all these negative things and I've gotten all the negative consequences. So what if I go that hard for positive things and get some positive consequences? And I've gotten a lot of positive consequences because of it. And I've been able to
Yeah.
build an amazing life for myself.
You must be really proud of yourself.
I am hella
Good.
proud of myself.
As you should. And I hope you continue
Oh, for sure.
healing out loud and posting what you post because not a lot of people get out of that,
Mhm.
and you did. So that's a huge, huge accomplishment on your end.
I think one of the things I really love is, especially we were talking about social media, right?
Mhm.
I've been reconnecting with a lot of people due to social media that I was incarcerated with. I was in there for 10 years. So I met a lot of people, right? And I've been to multiple prison yards and multiple places. They bounced me around for a while, right? And I've gotten so many people, especially on TikTok, so many people like, oh man, I remember you from this prison, or I remember you from this yard, or I remember you from this building, right? And I never thought you would change. I can't believe, look at you doing,
Yeah.
you own your own business, you own a house, you got a family, you out of all people,
Yeah.
people don't even believe that because I didn't even believe that in myself, until I chose to believe that, right? Because that's what it really boils down. It's a choice, right? There's nothing changed from August 29th, 2017 to August 30th, 2017. Nothing changed but my mindset. Nothing. I was still incarcerated. My mom had still passed away. My stepdad had still passed away. My wife had still left me. Like everything was still the same from one day to the next. This changed. And as soon as I changed my mindset and said, I'm going to do something different, I've been able to excel and do things that some people will never do. Like there are people that have never faced any of the things I've faced in life that will never do the things I've accomplished so far. And I'm still going,
You should.
like
Hell yeah.
that's the craziest part about it.
So let me ask you, when you were looking at yourself in the mirror and you're like, all right, this got to change, and you did that mindset shift, what were the steps that you took to stop using, to stop drinking, and to just take the steps to become a better you?
Yeah. I did the hardest thing that most people struggle with to this day. I asked for help. Right. So I'll tell you
That's
this.
the hardest part.
Hey, every podcast I'm ever on or every show I ever do, I always talk about my boy Fernando, right?
Okay.
And we're still homies to this day.
Shout out to Fernando.
Shout out to Fernando. He saved my life, right?
Yeah.
And here's the thing about Fernando. I didn't like Fernando. We were not friends at the time.
Because he called you out on your shitter.
No, because he was a square.
Oh, I love nerds.
Fernando was a straight square, okay? And I love him for that. Fernando didn't use no drugs. He went to church. He went to this little construction class we had on the yard. He went to school. I never seen him hustling. I never seen him get no fights. Everyone used to talk crap about Fernando. Like if the yard kicked off, he was going to run. Like, and
Poor Fernando.
But at the end of the day, he was doing positive things because he wanted to get out and be successful. So now I've done a lot of work on myself. And what I've realized in doing all this work is I was jealous of Fernando. I was jealous of Fernando because he was going to get out of prison and do well. And I wasn't. I was destined to spend the rest of my life in prison or die in the streets. Those were my two options at that point in time. And so when I realized, when I looked myself in the mirror and I seen that person I'd become and I decided I wanted to do something different, I walked up to Fernando and I said, hey, bro, I need your help. He said, I got you, man. And I just started following Fernando around. I started doing what Fernando does. Fernando was basically my first mentor, my first coach, whatever you want to call it, right? I 100% believe in mentorship, believe in coaches, right? I pay people to this day to teach me how to do what they're doing. But at that point in time, I couldn't pay Fernando. I just did what Fernando was doing. So here I was in San Quentin State Prison, right? And San Quentin State Prison at that time was popping, right? It was popping. Like there was a lot of drugs on the yard. San Quentin State Prison also has the most lifers at that time in the California system, people doing life sentences. And so they had the most programs at the time. And so what I did is I saw what Fernando was doing. He was participating in all these positive programs, and I decided I'm going to do the same. So I enrolled in anger management. I enrolled in substance abuse classes. I started going to therapy while I was in there. I did yoga. I did a parenting class. I didn't even have no kids at that time. You know, I did a parenting class. Like I just signed up for everything that was positive. Right. And what that did is it started putting me in rooms with people that were doing positive things. And a lot of those people were like OGs that had been in prison for like 30, 40. I remember this one OG been in prison for 54 years. I'm barely in my 30s at this time. And this old man's been in prison for 54 years trying to get out. And he's like looking at me like, youngster, you got an opportunity to get out and you're squandering it. Right. And so I'm in these rooms with these people that are doing positive things. And most of them were killers. Let's be real. Most of them that were doing life, they had bodies. They had killed people. I never killed nobody. And if I hadn't changed my ways, at one point I probably would have. Grateful that it never came to that. Yeah. Right? And so here I am with these people that I know have actually killed people. And they're like, hey, man, I wish I had a second chance. I regret killing that person or those people. Some of them had multiples, you know, like, and they're like been in prison for so long. And here I am, you know, squandering this opportunity to go home and change my life. I was like, wow. So I started doing the work, you know? Yeah. And so I started doing a lot of work on myself. And I started changing who I was from the inside out so that when I got out, I could do something with my life.
I like that a lot. Because that just shows you like it's so important, one, to ask for help. And I think that is the hardest thing for us as humans to do is to ask for help because we feel like it's weakness. But at some point, when you hit rock bottom, when you're just down, you got to ask for help. You got to reach out to anyone you can. And I like that you saw someone that you knew and that was the path you're like, I want to start going down that path. So fuck it. Let me put my ego down and ask him, how is he doing it? And what can I do? And then you just taking those steps to sign up for all those classes. Like that's huge. And that just reminds me of like all the resources we have. Like whether you're in jail or not in jail, there's so many resources out there that will help you. There's nonprofits out there that help you if you need therapy, you can get free therapy sessions. I mean, there's other things that I can't think of at the top of my head right now, but there's a lot of resources out there that I hope that if you guys are listening in, that you start to look into them. Like when it comes to wanting to change your life, wanting to stop drinking, wanting to stop doing dumb shit like we were doing, it's that mindset shift, finding your community, getting help, and just looking for the resources. So I had a question for you. When you think back to your younger version of yourself, what do you wish he knew?
Nothing. I am happy with the way my life went. I'm glad I went through everything I went through because it's given me a purpose. Like I've gotten asked that on almost every podcast. Do you regret? I don't regret nothing. Everything that I've been through has given me a purpose on this earth. Because back then I had no purpose. I have a purpose. I know my purpose. I wake up every day with a purpose, knowing that I'm on a mission to impact millions of lives. And so knowing that the reason why I went through everything I went through was to build this level of resiliency and this level of strength within myself to push as hard as I push to create this life that I've created so that I can impact more lives. You know, I've been into juvenile halls. I've been into boys' homes. I've been into fire camps for at-risk youth. I've been to spoken at foundation for at-risk youth. I've been able to be a person. Like I remember I went into the juvenile hall, right? And when I went into juvenile hall, it was so scary because I've been in and out of juvenile hall growing up. But I got to go in there and talk to these kids. And I wasn't like someone that went to school and got a degree and came in and talked to them. Not to knock what you're doing, right? You play a part. Absolutely, right? But I play a different part. And together, we can play a part,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think that's super important.
100.
But if there's not enough people like me that have been through that, that can go back in there and be like, hey, I've been in juvenile hall. I know what it's like doing burpees in your cell. I know what it's like getting beat up by a guard because I talked back. I know what it's like seeing your mom leave the visiting room after getting an argument because she wouldn't send you money or a magazine or whatever. I know what that's like. And now I've built this life, so it's possible. One thing, whenever I like to brag when I go to these places, because I don't think enough people brag about the things they've accomplished,
Yes,
right?
they don't.
You know, and everyone says, oh, be humble, be humble. But there's a level
No.
of being humble and being able to show people what's possible,
Yes,
right?
I
Because if I can
agree.
say I came from being homeless, I came from being a heroin addict, I came from doing 10 years in prison, I came from a broken home, right? To owning a home, owning a business, speaking on a TEDx stage, you know, like many people can't say that. You know, I before I went on that TEDx, we talked about the TEDx.
Mhm.
Before going on that stage, you know, I looked it up. There's only been before me 5 confirmed convicts have spoken on the TEDx stage.
That's
I'm
huge.
number 6. You know,
Yeah.
that's crazy to think of, right? But if I can tell people it's possible, someone else might believe they can do it too. You know, and if someone else can believe they can do it too, they're going to push themselves to get there.
Yeah. No, I love that so much, and I love how you say you don't regret anything you went through. Because I feel the same way with the shit that I went through in life. Because it brought me to where I'm at,
Mm.
my mindset, and now speaking wisdom to others and giving back and just spreading love and giving people, I guess, in a sense, what I didn't get growing up. But yeah, your story plays a huge role into who you are now, and you're able to help other convicts, other people that are in the same path as you or trying to finally get out. And you're right about what you're saying about having that lived experience, like how much that can really help others. Because I took a substance use class and we had to go to these Alcoholic Anonymous classes. And when you're able to hear other people's stories and how they also went through similar stuff, and then seeing how much they've changed, like it's like, shit, I'm not alone and I can change my life if I really want to. I just let me stay here. Let me stick around and keep hearing these people's stories. So you're right. Like, it's so important, and you have your passion. This is your purpose of giving back and being able to help folks out there. And even if they're not in prison, you can still help someone.
Oh, absolutely. And actually, 95% of the people in my gym are moms.
That's
None of them been to prison.
yeah,
You know, like I think I've had like 3 clients that have been. I actually have a couple now. I have a couple now. They're that have been incarcerated or
yeah,
even to prison that are now at my gym. But most of my client base are women, and most of them are moms, and their stories are not the same as mine. But I understand enduring hardship, and they've
yes,
all endured hardship different than mine. A lot
hmm,
of them are like come from like different hardships that I've never experienced, right? But we understand those same feelings. And that's what it boils down to, is those feelings and those emotions. And so it's crazy because uh, I'm so open with my story. Like I said at the beginning, like I'm an open book. I'm so open with my story. And so I tell people, like, you come in for a consultation with me, I'm gonna tell you I went to prison for 10 years. I'm gonna tell you everything. Right. And most people are like, damn, I want to work with this guy because you own your own gym. How did you do that? Like coming
yeah,
from prison? That's crazy. And so being able to help people and just being forthright with my story makes me it builds more of a rapport, more of a relationship.
definitely. And that goes into my next question is, how did you get into fitness? And on top of that, you're working with women specifically? Because I see that you work with moms that are over 30
Yeah.
plus. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got into fitness because when I was young, when I was 14, I was on the high school wrestling team and I was so skinny. I had to wrestle with the only girl on the team. And her boyfriend was also on the team. So I used to get bullied and picked on because of that. And it's kind of what kind of led me like, all right, screw this sports stuff. I'm gonna go hang out in the hood. This wasn't working for me, so I'm gonna go kick with these other people, right? And so I started working out. I started working out at the school gym, didn't know what I was doing. And then I started getting incarcerated. And when you're locked up, there's nothing but to do workout. Like you're just locked in a cell. We're doing push-ups, burpees, squats, lifting the
I
mattress,
bet.
just getting it in. Right now I was hella skinny. And I was like, I've gotten a lot of fights because I was skinny and people thought I was a punk because I'm small. Right now I'll get them up. And so I was like, I started putting on some size. I started working out. And over the years, I just became obsessed with it. Right. And during that 10-year sentence, that whole 10 years I was in there, I didn't just want to look good anymore. I wanted to know more about it.
Mm,
Right. So I started reading every book, every magazine I can get my hands on. The first like full book I read was Arnold Schwarzenegger's Encyclopedia of Bodybuilding.
Mm.
And this book changed my life. Literally, like I went into a juvenile fire camp a few years back and I brought them that book and gave them that book because that book saved my life. Right? It taught me about fitness,
Mm.
taught me the science behind it. And so I started taking that information and I started writing up workout plans for people in prison. The yellow legal pads, people like, oh, I want to lose like 20 pounds. Like, I got you. Can you make a meal plan for me based upon what we get fed here in prison? I got you.
What?
So I became a coach in prison, you know, and even like I got a homie, his name is Shane. He's still my homie to this day. I just texted him like last week. He lives 30 minutes, not even 30 minutes from my house. He's like 20 minutes from me. He's in San Lorenzo, right? And we were in prison together. And I taught this dude how to do pull-ups. And we did burpees together and we worked out together. And like I call him my first client because I helped him lose like 30 pounds in prison, just working out with him. And so I started seeing like I could help people. So when I started enrolling in all these classes, I took an entrepreneurship class. And when I took this entrepreneurship class, the guy that was teaching the class, he said, draw a line down the middle of the piece of paper. On the left, write everything you're good at. And on the right, write everything you enjoy doing. Fitness and helping people aligned. And I was like, man, I'm just going to get out and be a trainer. So initially I was like, I'm going to be a trainer. But then I shifted my mindset. Like, I want to be more than a trainer. I want to be a business owner. Like, I don't want to work for 24-hour fitness. I want to own my own something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to the library and I got a business book and I put together a business book and I put together a business plan and everything using that business book. I was like, I'm going to own my own business, you know? And then when I was like really, one thing that really saved my life, and I even talked about it on the TEDx stage, burpees. Burpees saved my life. I tell that to my clients all the time. I'm like, we're going to do burpees.
Man.
Everyone hates burpees. I love
I used to hate
burpees
burpees. I used to.
because like that was like a big staple exercise in prison.
Mm.
We would do a lot of burpees. And when I was getting clean and getting off drugs, every time I want to get high, I just knock out some burpees. I think about getting high, knock out some burpees. Before you know, I was just doing burpees all the time, you know? But then it became second nature just to do burpees. And now like it's the easiest thing you can do anywhere you're at. It's a hard thing to do. If you can accomplish, you know, burpees, that's hard. You did something hard. You accomplished something for the day. And so I was like, this is going to be how I'm going to use, and it became a tool. Fitness is a disciplined action. If you can be disciplined and go to the gym every day and get up early and work out and eat healthy food, if you can be disciplined enough to do that, you can also do that in every other area of your life. And so I've been able to use the discipline I created through fitness in the other areas of my life, in my business, as a father figure. You know, like my two stepsons, they've never seen me get mad. They've seen me get stern, but they've never seen me get mad. They've never seen me break anything. They've never seen me punch no holes in the wall like I saw my dad. I've never hit them. I've never yelled at them, cussed at them. You know, they'll never see that. And it's because I've been disciplined in becoming a father figure for them that they deserve.
Wow.
Right. And I use all that. Same with my business. You know, in my business, I've been able to scale my business and grow my business. During the pandemic, the whole world shut down. And everyone was like, I can't go to work. I can't do this. I can't do this. I've done plenty of lockdowns. This ain't nothing for me. It's the easiest lockdown ever. I got a phone in my hand and a laptop. Look, we're getting paid, right? And I started my business during the pandemic. And I went from training people at parks to training people in my backyard to a 500 square foot building to a 2,100 square foot building. I went from one client. Now I got 63 clients.
Shit.
You know?
Yeah.
And so like, how did I do that? Discipline. The same discipline I use with fitness, I use it with every other area of my life. And I've been able to be incredibly successful.
I fucking love that because I love fitness. And for those that follow me, know that I work out. I've been in school, so I have been having to give myself some grace. But for the most part, fitness has become like my number one thing that I have to do because you're right. That's where you get the discipline. That's where you learn when you're able to take care of yourself and follow through with your meal plan, with your workouts, and you see your body changing. That goes into every other aspect of your life. And you'll see your career, your relationships change, the way you show up. I mean, even you saying that how you're a father, how you show up as a father, like you don't yell, you don't scream, you don't punch the walls. Like fitness is a way to ground you. Not only physically does it shape you, but it really shapes your mentality. And I'm glad that we're talking about this because I always tell people when they're like, I need to change my life. Like, I feel like I'm lost. The first thing I always say, and the one thing I will always vouch for is go to the gym. Just start working out. Just start moving.
Mhm.
Go for a run, go for a walk, go do boxing, yoga, Pilates, whatever gets you moving and gets your adrenaline kind of going. I'm like, once you start to do that, you'll kind of get that like motivation, that inspiration. And I feel like that will push people into whatever path they want to go into. Like, I feel like that's where the ideas come up. You know, how sometimes people shower and they get ideas in the
Mhm.
shower. For me, it's like I'm working out and I'm like, "Oh, shit, all this content comes out. I'm like lifting weights or I'm on the treadmill, whatever. And I'm like, okay, I got to make this video or whatever the case is. But yeah, like fitness is huge. And I'm glad that you're talking about that because it shows. It shows that when you take care of yourself physically, it'll show up in every other aspect of your life.
You know, one of my best friends, his name is Zune. He has this statement I love. He said, "Fitness is the gateway to greatness." Right? And when he
Mm.
said that, I was like, "Yeah,
Ooh.
bro, it is." But I wanna, like, rewind a little bit to something you just said,
Okay,
right?
go
I
for
wanna
it.
first off give you your kudos on you're finishing up your master's degree right now, right?
Yes.
Congratulations, that's awesome. You know, and you said you're giving yourself grace right now. I don't think you need to give yourself grace if you've pivoted where your attention is right now,
Ooh.
because I don't believe in the idea of balance. There's no such thing as balance. Sometimes all in on my business, right? So I just finished October 4th. I hit the stage at 40 years old, did my first bodybuilding show. I was
I saw
all in
that.
on that,
Mhm.
right? So my business took a little bit of a hit. My family took a little bit of a hit. They knew it ahead of time. I told them this was what I had to finish for my 40th, you know?
Yeah,
But I don't believe there's always balance, right? I don't think that exists, you know?
I agree,
And so
actually.
like right now you're all in on finishing your master's degree because that's important towards elevating your life and your business and everything you got going on in life, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, you put a pause on you're not hitting the gym as hard, right? That's okay. We got to find those seasons where we got to go all in on certain things. You know, right now, I'm not tracking my food. I'm not I'm still hitting the gym because I'll go crazy if I don't go to the gym, right?
yeah.
But I'm all back in on my business, right? Because I put a little bit of a pause on it while I was prepping for my bodybuilding show because I was all in on that. I hit the stage, super shredded. I got a bunch of medals, felt good, and went back. Now I'm like eating whatever I want to eat. I'm okay with that. I love the way I look right now, so I'm not tripping. I'm
Yeah,
enjoying the holiday season with my family, but I'm all in on my business right now, right? All my attention is on like my members. How can I get more members? How can I support the current members? I'm harassing them to get back in the gym. That's my main focus right now. I'm not focused on my own fitness thing. And then my family, because I did put, you know, like I didn't give them, my girlfriend or her two boys, the attention they needed while I was prepping for my bodybuilding show. Cause the reality of it is I didn't have the energy when with all the things I was doing,
yeah.
you know? And so because of that, now they're getting all my attention. I'm sitting at the piano bench while my stepson plays the piano because he wants to show me this song he'd been practicing. Right? I'm getting off my phone when I'm hanging out with them and playing Super Smash Brothers or whatever on the Nintendo Switch because I don't even play video games, but I'll play with them, you know?
Oh,
And so I just want to tell you, like, I don't think it's giving yourself grace. I think you're just pivoting where you got to focus your attention for the time being, and then you'll get back in the gym because I'd be watching you in the gym. You still get it, you know?
I appreciate you for saying that, seriously, because I'm always so hard on myself. But I think we all are as humans. And I've been trying like balancing masters, podcast, my internship, my full-time job, and my personal life, trying to like see family, friends, and stuff. And I was like, yo, this year I'm gonna have to prioritize my shit and I have to say no to a lot of things. I had to say no to going out. I had to say no to certain birthdays and just to even rest my brain. But this month for sure, I had to like slow down on the gym because I also have ADHD. So my mind works different. Like if
Mhm.
I have multiple tasks and I know like I need to get those tasks done, I can't do the other task. It's so weird, but like I'll be like, okay, I can't go to the gym because I have to finish this paper. Once I finish this paper, then I can go to the gym. My brain works that way. But I do appreciate you saying that for real because it's true. I had to pivot and I was like, all right, this is the end. I need to go all in so I can finish and graduate. Then, starting next week, I'm back on it. Back on my macros, back on the gym, and we refocus and figure out what's the next step for me. So I appreciate you saying that. And that's also good for others to hear because I'm sure there's people out there struggling on trying to balance motherhood, work, relationships, whatever it is, a business. And sometimes we're like, fuck, I'm losing, like I'm not giving enough attention here or here. And what I liked hearing from you is that you were transparent with your girlfriend. You were like, look, I'm not going to be able to give you my time right now, but once I'm done with this, I'm all yours. And then you went and did that. And I think that's perfect. That shows your communication style. And I feel like a lot of people kind of lack on that. It's like, if you just tell your people like, hey, I'm starting school, I'm probably not going to see you guys. And if I say, I want you to still invite me to come out, but I might say no. And I don't want that. I don't want that to be a reason for you to stop asking me. If that makes sense. But that's just me rambling based on what you just said.
Yeah, no, I love that. So like when I first was about to transition into I've only had one job in the fitness industry. And from there I just went and did my own thing. But it was at Orange Theory Fitness. And when I was prepping to get a job with them, I hadn't finished my certification yet. And they're like, you need to get it done by this certain date. And so I put a post on Facebook and I was like to all my family and friends, like, hey, I'm focused on something right now. I'm not going to be responding to text messages. Don't invite me out.
You're
I'm
like,
good.
don't.
Hey, I'm good, but I'm doing something right now.
Yeah.
You know, and I just shut out that aspect of my life and I just focused on this because I knew it was going to move the needle to get me to the next place I needed. I needed to get that certification so I can get my foot in the door of this fitness industry and so that I could level up my skill set so I could do my own thing eventually. You know, and so I think that's important too. Like being able to like set those boundaries, like you said, you know, that's
Yes. And then hopefully your people will understand. But like I always say, if your people can't respect your boundaries and be okay with it, then are they really your people?
exactly.
Unfortunately.
Exactly.
That's a sad truth. I feel like as we get older, like we're realizing so much. At least I speak for myself. I'm realizing a lot. I'm like, damn. I've always been a people pleaser. So I've always been like, yes, yes, I got you. I'll be there. And finally, I'm just like, hold up. Let me put myself first real quick. And I might have to say no because I actually don't want to go or I'm just not in the mood or anyways, I'm not going to keep rambling about that, but yeah. Let's go into fitness with moms. In your experience, what are the biggest lies women are told about weight loss, fat loss, and getting strong?
All right, here we go. Biggest lie number one, that you have to do cardio to lose weight.
Okay.
That
You
is a
heard
lie. That is a lie. So cardio helps you lose calories and calories help you lose weight on the scale. But if you do too much cardio, you lose muscle mass as well. And when you lose muscle mass, you decrease your metabolism. And since we know women over 30, their metabolism decreases by 2 to 3% every decade. If they have kids, it also affects their metabolism. If they're stressed out, which most people are in
we're
general,
always
but women, moms that go
our
jobs and school
hormones.
and all these things, they're more stressed out than men. Their cortisol rises, it affects their metabolism. So you have all these external things. If you're doing a bunch of cardio or HIIT workouts, you're actually depleting your muscle mass and you're lowering your metabolism, which is why at my gym, we just focus on strength training. We lift weights and we push our members to lift heavy weights in order to go. The second myth, speaking of heavy weights, women are afraid to get bulky. It is so hard to get bulky. I've been working out for like, let's see, since I was 14, I'm 40, so that's what, 26 years? I'm still not as bulky as I want to get, right? So it's really hard to get bulky, okay? You're not going to just, oh, I did some bicep curls. Whoa, look how bulky I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger now, you know? Not without steroids or a lot of food. You know, women don't create enough testosterone to get bulky, and women don't eat enough food to get bulky, right? You have to eat a lot of food and have a lot of testosterone to build the muscle mass that people are afraid of to get bulky, right? Time. Everyone thinks they don't have enough time. Man, if you just look at how much time you spent on TikTok this week, you have enough time.
Mm-hmm.
You might not have enough time to go spend 3 hours in the gym. Like you see these fitness influencers on TikTok. I just finished a 3-hour leg day. Nobody that has kids and a job and goes a career and all this that has 3 hours to spend in the gym. Cool. That's why our gym, we do 45-minute workouts. You're in, you're out, you're done. Another one that I hear a lot is that they can't afford a coach or they can't afford to get healthy. Well, I had no money while I worked out in prison. Burpees are free. Right? That's why I love burpees. You can just do them for free.
Free
But
burpees for everybody.
right, but at the end of the day, like I've had a lot of conversations. In fact, I had a conversation with a woman yesterday. Right, she came in. It was a consultation. She was interested in our upcoming 6-week challenge, and she's got quite a bit of weight to lose. Her body fat is very high, and her health is deteriorating because of it. And she said she eats out 6 times a week. Most people are Uber eating or door dashing 3 to 5 times a week. The average American 3 to 5 times a week is hitting Uber Eats or DoorDash. That's
Yeah.
like $30 to $40 a pop. You can afford a coach. you can afford a gym membership, right? But you're just spending the money on things that are killing you. And
I
then another one
agree.
is kids. A lot of people, a lot of moms blame their kids, right? I think it should be the reverse. And this is a mindset shift that I work with a lot of my members, right? And my
Mhm.
clients. It's like your kids shouldn't be the reason you're not fit. They should be the reason you are fit.
Yes.
They 100%
Yes.
should be the reason, right?
Yes.
You should be physically capable of picking your kids up if your house was on fire and getting them out of the house. If you're not, we have work to do,
Yes.
you know? And that's the reality of it is people say, "Oh, I can't get fit because of my kids." You need to get fit because of your kids. It is our responsibility as parents to be in the best shape possible in order to support our kids. My kids know what macros are. They know what
Damn.
protein. They sit down and intentionally teach them.
Yeah.
They just watch me and their mom. We track our food. We weigh our food. We eat high protein meals. We don't eat fast food. Rarely we eat fast food. When we go out to eat, it's usually a healthier option still, And so they know what, they'll sit down and be like, "Oh, I got protein, I got carbs, and I got veggies." Like they know
That's
that,
so
right?
cute.
They know they got to eat fruit before they can get their dessert. They know how to do burpees. They know
Yeah.
that. They're my two boys. My girlfriend was at the gym and I was at the house with the boys before I came here, and they're like, "Paul, come check out what we built." They're playing Minecraft, right?
Mhm.
They built a gym on their Minecraft game.
That's so cute.
They're like, "Look, there's the barbell. Look, there's the treadmill." And I don't see here like make them sit down and read fitness books. This is just a part of our lifestyle in our household. And so they're aware of that. They do martial arts, they love to play sports, and we don't force them to do these things. Once again, they're just following the example of what they see in the household. Just like I followed the example of what I saw in the household, which was anger and violence and drug abuse. And so I did that in my life and it didn't work out for me. So now I'm setting a positive example to my kids. There's
Wow.
not a single kid on this earth that wants to be obese. There's not a single kid on this earth that wants to be held down and unable to do anything because they are not physically capable because of the actions and the habits that their parents have taught them. And so as a parent, it is our responsibility to show them better habits.
100% agreed. Because I wish I also had known more about just being healthier, eating healthier options growing up. Because I was also I feel like I was overweight most of my life, and then at some point I remember I think right before I hit 21, I had been drinking a lot. I had been going to Jack in the Box at 2 in the morning after the
Hmm.
club. Like I was doing stupid shit and then I was blowing up. And I was like, I'm so unhappy. This is not right. And I wish I grew up in a household where fitness was prioritized. Although at some point my dad was in the gym. He was in that era where guys were like bodybuilding and stuff. But survival mode, working 2 jobs, he stopped working out, so it wasn't something that we grew up learning in our household, and my mom was never really big on health and fitness, she was just always making delicious food that I miss. But, you're right, it's like you are creating the environment in your household, and as a parent, you are the guide. You are this child's guide. You are the person they're looking up to. Your kids, they look up to you. And that's why they built that gym in the Minecraft game because that's what they're seeing. That's what they're knowing. They're innocent children that
Yeah,
are learning what you're doing. And I think it's dope and beautiful how you're setting the standard for them. And I hope that, parents that are listening in, like you take this in with a grain of salt. Is that what they say? And just become a better you for not just yourself, but your children.
absolutely. And I think that it's important to point out that like the reason why I work with moms,
Mhm.
first off, for some reason, just the universe started pushing a lot. When I started my business, just started pushing a lot of moms to hit me up for coaching,
Yeah.
right? But also like there's like a multifaceted reason. So one, my mom passed away at a pretty young age. She was like, I think maybe late 50s when she passed away,
Okay.
right? And she didn't take care of her health. Growing up, when she did stop using drugs, we ate out pizza on Friday nights, and not a lot of healthy home cooked meals. She never went to the gym. Like it wasn't a thing in our household growing up, and so she didn't take care of her health, and she passed away at a relatively young age. But also, I want to help the youth. Right. And so if I can teach more moms, because I believe moms run the household. At the end of the day, those two boys, they're mama boys. right? And my girlfriend, shout out to her because she hits the gym and eats healthy and tracks her food and all this stuff too. So like they see it from both of us,
Yeah.
and that's how I met her, through the gym. We didn't, like, so it's not like I convinced her to start working out. Like
Yeah.
she was already working out when I met her, But like if I can teach these moms these healthier habits, right, it translates into their household. And I was just talking to someone about one of my clients earlier today, and I was explaining how like my client, she started with me. Her daughter was overweight as well. And her daughter was like 15. And so her daughter was overweight as well. My client started changing her habits in her household. She started changing what she was doing. She ended up losing 40 pounds in the 6 months that she worked with me. And her daughter lost about 20 pounds herself. Her daughter didn't go to the gym. Her daughter didn't come work out at my gym. Her daughter didn't go run laps around the park. Like, no, her daughter just ate what she ate in the household. Her daughter just followed her, and she told me one day, she showed me a picture. She's like, oh my God, look at me and her. Like, look at this picture last year and then this year from since I started working with you. She's like, not only did you save my life, but you saved my daughter's life. Right. And that's like, for me, it's like, okay, cool. So the more moms I can help, then the more kids I can also help. Right. In a ripple effect. And
Yeah.
that's an amazing opportunity.
No, yes, and I love that because I'm a I'm a I'm big on helping women and women empowerment and helping women build their confidence because
Mhm.
I believe when you have confidence, you're just able to move different in the rooms that you go and just being able to achieve the things that you want to achieve. So I love that you're working with not just with women, but with moms because I feel like moms have it the worst. They're not only navigating motherhood, but also now working and they're stressed daily and I'm just like, I'm so big on like need self-care is so important because it'll help you throughout your day. It'll help you with your kids or yourself and just being able to set yourself up for the day. So I love that you're working with moms. They need it the most.
For sure. And I think being a mom is probably the hardest job out there. Straight up. Like
Fuck
I'm
yeah.
not gonna I'm not gonna knock a mom's hustle. Like mom's gotta work hard,
Yes.
And so for me, it's a personal challenge working with moms.
I
Right?
bet.
It's
I
like,
bet you they
oh,
give you a lot of pushback
for
or they're like,
sure.
I ended up eating this
Yeah,
or
it's definitely a challenge, but it's great because it's helping me grow as a coach and grow as a human being,
yeah.
but also like it helps me learn more, because let's be real, like I can get a dude to hit the gym 3 times a week and stop drinking soda and he'll get ripped, you know?
Yeah.
But a woman, but especially a mom has a lot more obstacles to overcome. So it's more for me, it helps me level up as a coach. Like I have to be really good at like when my clients that are moms and got all these things against them get great results. I'm like, yeah, I'm really good at what I do because you have to be really good at what you do to get someone like that result. It's not easy for them. It's
Yeah.
not. They got so many, you as women in general got so many things against you.
Oh,
Like
our
I don't knock
hormones
that
at
at
that.
all. Like I don't knock that at all. I never will tell any of my clients like, oh no, you have it easy. Not at all. Right. But if you follow my blueprint and let me help you, you will get the results you're looking for. Right.
100%.
And that's what it boils down to, is being able to overcome all those obstacles. And that's why I think a lot of moms gravitate towards me because I've had so many obstacles of my own. They're different obstacles,
Yeah.
but I've had a lot of obstacles that have gotten in my way that I've still been able to overcome them to get to where I'm at
What area did you say your gym is at
in
again?
Hayward on B
Hayward.
Street.
Moms out there, if you near Hayward, San Leandro area,
San
anywhere in
Leandro.
the East Bay, really,
Anyway, yeah, I got clients coming from Oakland.
you gotta hit up his gym.
I even have a member of OPD that trains with me. Yeah,
Oh,
it's pretty
nice.
cool because she knows my story and she's like, she don't care. She's come with her car, hit the lights on me before, like, oh, shit.
How did she find you?
Um,
Through
do
social media?
through social media. Yeah. I
Oh,
think
okay.
actually through her sister. Her sister used to do Orange Theory with me. And then her sister shared some of my social media stuff. And then she reached out to me and like just, it's
Yeah.
kind of grown from there. But I have a
Nice.
couple clients that come from Oakland, San Leandro, San Lorenzo, Hayward, Castro Valley. We're like right
Yeah.
on the border of Hayward and Castro Valley. So
And you know what I love about you? That you are a community person
mm,
because you collaborate a lot with other fitness trainers
oh
and other
yeah.
gym owners.
For
And I think that's dope because it's about collabing. It's about coming together. Like how can we make a bigger impact versus just me trying to make an impact? Like it's so important for us to all come together and do this together and elevate and inspire and empower more people.
one of my favorite sayings that I say all the time is competition at the bottom, collaboration at the top.
Ooh.
because once again, my goal is to help people.
Yeah.
And maybe my coaching style, maybe my gym, maybe just who I am doesn't sit right with some people. There's a lot of
Mhm.
people that are like, I love what Coach Paul does, but I would never work with him. Cool. Where do you live? I got homies everywhere. My boy Marcos got a dope ass gym in San Leandro, Fear Training. Go check him out. My boy Camilo got Providence Athletic Club in West Oakland. Go check him out. Like I know people, I've built this community,
Yeah.
and so like maybe what I'm doing doesn't vibe with you or just my community and you're fit. That's cool. I'm not a hater. I want you to get fit still. I've had people come in and have a consultation. I've sat there and talked to them, and I just didn't think they were a good fit for me.
Mhm.
And I was just like, hey, you know what? To be honest with you, I don't think I can help you, but I know someone that could. And I've pointed them in other directions and sent them on their way. Like I think that you're not a good fit for my community or for me, right? Because I don't, think we would vibe, and that's cool. I'm gonna send you over here to someone I think could help you. And I post other coaches on my page all the time. People are like, you're crazy. Why are you posting other coaches? Like, why not? Like, I'm not a hater.
Yeah.
People don't work with me like, yeah, they work with me because I'm a really good coach, but they mostly work with me because of my story and because of who I am. They
Mhm.
vibe with who I am. Because if you have a coach that you can vibe with, you're going to trust them. Yeah. Most of my members have cried at some point in my office because they
Mm.
trust me. They can be vulnerable with me because they trust me enough to know that I'm going to support them. You know?
Yeah. That's dope. I see you getting a little emotional. I
Yeah.
love
Because
that.
I love what I'm doing.
I love when people get emotional on my podcast because this is Garo V and I'm an emotional soul too. And I feel this work so passionately. Like I love helping people so
Mhm.
much. It fucking makes my day. And when I hear someone's like, oh, your words or your story has really made me do this or has changed my life, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's why it touches you because you know that you're changing these people's lives. And you really should do mentorship. I don't know if you do that already, but you should add that to your program. Mentoring men. I think that would be amazing. Just putting that out there.
Well, I mean, it's actually crazy that so I have a handful like rehab facilities that I go into pretty often. Every month I have 3 of them that I go to.
You'd be a good probation officer too. I'm just saying.
I'm cool. I'm gonna stick with what I'm doing. But like one thing is like I've been adding more men into our gym, which has been pretty cool. And a lot of them are people I know from like that have a similar background that I have. Like people like my boy Carl, big old Uso. He works at the rehab facility I went to when I got out of prison. Right. And now he's one of our members. And like he's like off of his diabetic medication now and almost like, like he's
Hell
like
yeah.
these big changes that are happening. And he's a big old Uso, he's a big guy, he's 6'4", like he's a monster, right? But he's in there with all these women working out, like he's just doing his thing in the corner, and they all like, "Come on, Carl,
I
go
love
harder,"
that.
But yeah, we've been able to connect with a lot more men and help them out as well, which is great.
Yeah. I love that. Oh, you're doing amazing work. I feel your energy. It's genuine, soft, and definitely I do feel men need that the most. They need that mentorship, but it's nice that you do that for women and moms at that and that they feel vulnerable enough to even come into your office and cry. Like
Hmm.
that's huge. As someone who's a therapist, like this is the stuff that I see. So it's a big deal. But as we start closing down, I have just a few more questions for
Yeah, for
you
sure.
to end it off. When your future clients or even your kids hear your story one day, unless they already know your story, what do you hope they understand about resilience?
Well, my kids already know my story. They
That's
they
dope.
know my story. They know where I come from, but I think, and I tell my story to all my clients too. Like that's part of my sales pitch, basically. Like
Mhm.
I have pictures of me in prison on my slide deck. Like this is where I come from. I did 10 years of prison. I'm a recovering drug addict. Like I've survived some crazy things to build the life and so I want people to understand that resilience is a skill or a habit that can be developed over time. And that instead of thinking of the things that happened to us, they happened for us. Everything that I've been through in my life happened for me to build me into a stronger human being
Ooh.
so that I'm capable of overcoming what might come next. And if I can continue to keep that mindset and understand that I am strong as I am today because of what I went through yesterday, then the next things that come up to face, I've been through harder things. And so anytime I face something that's difficult in my life, I just look at what I've already been through. I'm like, this ain't even really that hard compared to what I've been through. Like, and so
Yeah.
even with my members, when they're going through hard things in life, I know enough of their backstory. They shared enough about their backstory that I can be like, oh, you remember like last year you told me you went through XYZ? Like one of my coaches, she went through a really crazy domestic violence situation 2 years ago, and now she's a coach at my gym, helping the women at my gym. And so she'd be great to get on your show, by the way. Her name's Rosie. She's amazing, right? And even her brother Moses is also one of my coaches, and he's been through a lot of shit too, and like these are the people I'm attracting that have been through stuff. Because when you've been through something hard and you've overcome it, you can help other people overcome hard things too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that resiliency.
I love that. I love that answer so much. And you're right. It is a freaking habit. You got to start somewhere and just stay consistent. Make it a habit. Everything is a habit. And another question, if you could leave listeners with one message, what would it be?
You can do anything you want in life, anything.
Very simple,
Very simple, right?
straight to the point.
And if you continuously tell yourself that, you can. Because the words that we use control us. So, like, back in the days, I used to be like, "Oh, you're so dumb," or "You're so stupid," or "I make a mistake," like, "You idiot," you know? And sometimes those thoughts pop up, but I beat them down with something else, And so, as long as I continuously tell myself, "You can do anything, you can do anything, you can do anything," I believe it. And as long as I believe it, nothing can stop me. And every time I've faced something that I thought was impossible and I did it, it you talked about confidence.
Mm.
That's how I believe we build confidence, by doing things we think are impossible, accomplishing them. And once we accomplish them, we can kind of be like, oh yeah, I did that. Cool. What else can I do? What can I do next? What can I do next? What can I do next? And you just keep building that. And before you know it, you just know you're the baddest motherfucker on earth. Right?
I love that you're saying that because it ties into this podcast. This is the last episode of season 2 of Get Real with B, and you said you could do anything. I literally did not know this was possible, and I just did it. I just bought a fucking mic from the TikTok shop.
There you go.
Bought the Riverside, what is it called? The Riverside software. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna fucking do it. And it's true. And now I'm here. And exactly what you're saying. Anything is possible. You just have to want it and you have to execute. You got to plan it out. So I appreciate you. And y'all, if you're looking for a better you next year in 2026, got a personal trainer right here. So if you're in the East Bay, you know who to hit up.
Absolutely.
Where can the listeners find you? I'll make sure to put all your tags up here.
The_coach_Paul. So it's THE, right? Because we're not the Bible here. THE_coach_Paul, because I'm the Coach Paul. Website, thecoachpaul.com. You can see my car driving through the East Bay, the Coach Paul on the side of it with my picture.
You cannot miss him.
You can't miss it. No. The Coach Paul on TikTok, the Coach Paul on Instagram, maybe Paul Casey on Facebook.
Maybe we'll put a picture of your car right here.
There you go. Right? Yeah. And then that's where you find me. I share a lot of valuable motivation and fitness content.
Yes.
And I'm here to support.
Yes, you guys, please go follow him. He shares a lot of stuff, fitness, motivation, discipline, and just his journey in general. So if you're looking for someone you can look up to and just follow, and if you're looking for some guidance, 10 out of 10 recommend. But Paul, thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate you and just being able to have this conversation with you.
Thank you for having me.
Definitely. Until next time, we'll see what 2026 has in hold for us. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for being here. As always, please, please, please like, subscribe, comment, share it with a friend, family, someone you feel will aligns with this episode. There's so many gems on here. Free gems. This is free, where you can listen, take it in, and hopefully make a change. We love y'all. Until next time.